Welcome back to the Enfield Talking newspaper. Now we return to local news with Janet.
Smiles were all around when an MP opened a modernised post office with extending opening hours. Enfield and Southgate MP David Burrows cut the ribbon last Friday to officially open the post office in Palmer's Green, which had been closed for refurbishment. Following the work, the post office opening hours have been extended by 13 hours a week to help people who need to visit outside working hours. Mr. Burrows said, "I'm really impressed with all the changes at Palmer's Green Post Office. It looks radically different. I'm thrilled to be asked to open this new look office. It is such an improvement. Delighted the office is open longer opening hours to meet the need of local residents and businesses. Customers are immediately taking advantages of the longer opening hours." Cabinet Member for Business and Regeneration, Councillor Del Goddard, also attended to support the new look. There were big smiles all around on the faces of staff and customers. Mr. Batt said he is pleased with the refurbishment, which has created a lighter, brighter, cleaner and tidier post office.
Furious campaigners have vowed to fight on against a 231 home development on the border of Enfield and Barnet after planning chiefs approved the project on Monday night. Housing Association L&Q's application to build on the former Middlesex University campus in Cat Hill, Cockfosters, was approved by 8 votes to 5 at a 3-hour planning meeting at Ashmole Academy in Cecil Road, Southgate. The application will now be put before the Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, who could still object to the development. Chairwoman of the Campaign for Cat Hill, Kim Coleman, called on residents to write to Mr. Johnson, urging him to block the scheme. This was L&Q's second application to build on the site after the first bid was rejected following a hard-fought campaign by residents. The revised plans, which include several 5-storey blocks and 59 terraced houses, already had the backing of planning officers who had recommended it for approval. Opponents raised concern over the size, scale and density of the development, as well as the impact on roads, trees and wildlife. The new application saw the number of homes cut by 20, the height of the tallest blocks reduced from 5 stories to 4, and the building materials changed to red brick and slate. L&Q also said that it had conducted new ecological surveys and had saved 1 veteran oak tree from the chop. Opponents argued that their objections had not been addressed, and many spoke out at the meeting. Ms. Coleman told the committee, "You were elected to serve the best interests of all the people in the borough. We have given you valid and legitimate reasons to refuse this application, and please do the right thing." L&Q's Land and Projects Director, Andy Rowland, said, "We are very pleased that the Planning Committee had approved our plans for Cat Hill. We will build well-designed homes that match the character of the area. As long-term stewards of the Cat Hill ponds, will manage the woodland and boost species diversity."
The tables were turned last week when the chief organiser of the cash mob phenomenon was mobbed by her own gang of surprise shoppers. Businesswoman Karen Mercer has been organising shock cash mobs of independent retailers throughout the borough for months, using Facebook and social media to gather a crowd of shoppers armed with £10 notes ready to descend on unsuspecting traders. Shops across the borough have benefited from her idea of galvanising community support for businesses. And last Wednesday she was rewarded for her efforts when a 15-strong gang descended on her coffee shop on Platform 1 at Enfield Chase Railway Station in Windmill Hill. "It was amazing," the owner of my coffee shop told the advertiser. I had absolutely no idea that it was going to happen, so it was really such a shock. It was absolutely unbelievable. I didn't realise what an amazing feeling it is as a shop owner when suddenly all these people descend on you, desperate to spend their £10 in your shop. The surprise move was hatched by Yoga for Mums founder Cathy Underwood, who wanted Karen to see at first hand how valued she was. Karen puts so much effort and time into other people's businesses at a time when it is difficult economically, said Cathy. She explained that the gang had gathered out of sight of the station cafe so they could surprise Karen when they went into her shop en masse brandishing £10 notes. She is so good at phoning people up and cajoling them to get along to the shop cash mob she organises, and we wanted to let her know we appreciate that, added Cathy.
A mother, terrified about foxes attacking her baby, is calling for Enfield Borough Council to take action. Meltam Asim of Hammond Road in Enfield Highway claims that for months up to 9 foxes have taken over the gardens in her street throughout the day and night. The 41-year-old is now refusing to open her windows in case the foxes get inside and harm her 5-month-old son, Kaya Khan. Her fears were heightened following a fox attack in Lewisham last month that left a 4-week-old baby with a severed finger. She also claims a neighbour's cat was savaged by the foxes. Ms. Asim said, "I'm terrified to leave a window open. I don't know how we are going to get through the summer. The council has dealt with the wheelie bins, but it has not provided a solution to the fox problem." Next-door neighbour Kathleen Woodham has called the council regularly to complain, but claims her concerns fell on deaf ears. The 63-year-old, who suffers from breathing difficulties, is also worried her pet Chihuahua could fall victim to the foxes. She said, "I think the council has got to do something now. We have all had enough. Foxes look lovely, but they're not. They are evil." Councillor Chris Bond, Cabinet Member for Environment, said, "Enfield Council has rolled out wheeled bins to thousands of homes across Enfield, and this has helped to minimise the likelihood of foxes being able to rip open bin bags for food and reduce their available food sources. But it's extremely important that residents pay their part and don't encourage these creatures by feeding them. There is no specific law which requires the council to control fox numbers."
A budget slashing more than $13 million from services in Enfield has been passed, despite strong opposition from Conservative councillors. The latest wave of cuts, which will come into force next month, will see almost $5 million taken from Enfield Borough Council's health, housing and adult social services, and almost $400,000 from schools and children's services. The authority blames cuts of $80 million in 4 years on austerity measures imposed by central government. During a full council meeting last week at Enfield Civic Centre, councillor leader Doug Taylor praised the Labour administration for their success in dealing with unprecedented government cuts. He said the council is positive and confident in its ambitions and will achieve the success that we have had in the past 3 years. He blamed the clueless government for forcing the council to make cuts, but claimed he is confident the authority will continue to provide excellent services. However, Conservative councillors refused to back Labour-led administration and unanimously abstained from voting. Conservative leader Councillor Michael Lavender criticised the Labour group for coming up with no medium-term plan and claimed the cuts will hit hardest in 2014. He claimed there is no provision for the future and criticised Labour politicians for relying on assumptions when coming up with figures.
A father is outraged over school rules banning his son from playing imaginary gun games, branding the primary and nanny school. Teachers at Worcester's School in Goat Lane, Enfield, have told children they are not to play pretend army games with imaginary guns in the school playground. Mark Ayres, 38, of Magpie Close, Enfield, whose 7-year-old son goes to Worcester, said this is just completely over the top. I mean, we all grew up playing cops and robbers, and in fact, it's probably safer than kids running around chasing each other. My son likes playing little army games. All kids do. This just seems like a huge overreaction. Karen Jadji, head teacher of Worcester, said the playtime needed to be monitored. We actively discourage children from playing violent games or games involving imaginary weapons in the playground by explaining to them what it represents, she said. Some children can be easily frightened by violent play, which is often influenced by computer games, and we feel that such games can have a harmful effect on young minds. Mr. Ayres was also angry that teachers had confiscated a small bag of Maltesers from his son, saying that the pupils were allowed to eat chocolate-covered biscuits, but not chocolates. He added, "This school has other problems. They have got so much more than they should be concentrating on." But Miss Jadji said that the rules were aimed at tackling obesity, adding, "We want to do our best for children attending this school."
A massive housing development in New Southgate has been given the go-ahead. The regeneration of the Ladderswood estate will see the existing homes razed to the ground and 517 new flats, as well as an 80-bedroom hotel, a community centre and business spaces built in their place. The decision by Enfield Council's Planning Committee on Tuesday night last week was met with dismay by some tenants who are unhappy with the plans. Ellie Bagulay, chairwoman of the Ladderswood Residents Panel, says the people who she represents are disappointed that many of the new flats will be smaller than their current homes. "I'm not surprised by this decision, but I am not happy with it," she told the Advertiser. "We were promised like for like, 2 bedrooms for 2 bedrooms. However, what we will have with this plan is less space, with an open plan living and kitchen area, rather than what we currently have, a separate bathroom and kitchen. We will be living in rabbit hutches." Ms. Bagulay added that maintenance of the existing buildings had been poor, and she had no confidence that things would change. In a report presented to councillors at last week's meeting, the issue of space was acknowledged. It said 1% of the units will not meet minimum space standards. The applicant is required to make necessary amendments to address this shortfall. With an extra 1,300 people expected to move into the area when the regeneration is complete, councillors expressed concern over how schools would cope. But council officers said the extra primary-age children would be absorbed into schools in neighbouring Barnet and Haringey, where education authorities had agreed to create additional primary school capacity.
Excited pupils at an Edmonton primary school received a visit from an Olympic sprint star after taking part in a half-term athletics programme. Children from Raynham Primary School in Raynham Avenue, Edmonton, were handed medals for their performances by Adam Gemilli during an assembly. There were awards for Best Athlete, Most Improved Athlete, Best Team Leader and Best Behaviour, and all 55 pupils who took part received a certificate. Adam, 19, won 100 metres gold at the World Junior Athletics Championships in Barcelona last year and narrowly missed out on a place in the final of the same event at the London 2012 Olympics. He told the children, "I'm very happy to be here and heard lots of good things about you. You should all be proud of the hard work you put in last week. It's very important to get as many people as possible involved and continue the great legacy that the Games have left us with." Sachel Samuda, project coordinator at the school, said the children had some aching muscles after all the sport and games they took part in over half-term, but they came back every day and worked so hard and really enjoyed themselves. Sports and games are a great way of bringing the kids together, and as a school it's important that we embody the Olympic spirit and build on the legacy of the Games. The 5-day programme involved pupils aged between 7 and 11 taking part in sprints, long jump and hurdles contests. Personal training company befittoday.co.uk provided the programme for the school and arranged for the Rising Star to hand out medals at the special assembly. befittoday.co.uk founder TJ Osai said, "Adam's only 19 and last season he had the best season of his life. He started out just like these kids and the children were very excited to have him visit. They were already looking forward to the next athletics programme." Adam was the second London 2012 star to visit the school. During the October half-term last year, 400 metres silver medalist Christine Ohuraguru presented awards to the children.
I've got a lovely picture here of some youngsters sitting on a blanket in the grass in the sunshine, cuddling their teddy bears. And the story goes, children sang in the sun during a charity teddy bears picnic. 33 tots from Butterfly's Child and Baby Care Service in Church Street, Edmonton, learnt nursery rhymes, songs and actions, ready for the annual Chatterbox Challenge. Mad Chatterbox Tea Party. The week-long campaign will be held in nurseries, preschools and childminding groups throughout the country to help children with their communication skills while raising money for charity ICANN, which supports children with communication difficulties.
Police are still appealing for information after a man was left with serious head injuries following an attack outside Honest Grove Tube Station. The 25-year-old victim was with a male friend at the junction of Bowes Road and Palmer's Road just after midnight on Sunday, February the 24th, when they were set upon by between 4 and 6 men. The victim remains in hospital in a critical but stable condition. His friend was treated for a minor head injury but released from hospital on the same day. No arrests have been made, and anyone with information is asked to contact Enfield Police.
Green jobs were under the spotlight during a fair at Barnet and Southgate College. Hundreds of young people visited the Enfield Environmental Technologies Fair at the college's Southgate campus last week to speak to employers about the growing importance of the environmental sector. Councillor Alan Thitkin, who chairs Enfield Borough Council's Sustainability Scrutiny Panel, was pleased with the turnout. The Labour politician, who spent months organising the event, said, "People don't realise there are important jobs in this field, which is developing rapidly. Now is the time for young people to seize the new ideas on offer. We need builders, plumbers and craftsmen who know how to handle and fit the new materials being used in solar panels and piping and heating in house building. We also need people to be skilled in making older buildings more energy efficient." He said emerging industries will help people use less energy, be safer, as well as help the economy and cut down on waste. Utilities companies offered careers advice, and business owners were invited to find out how they can adapt their ways to save money while looking after the environment. Councillor Sitkin added, "We cannot underestimate the benefits that come with caring for the environment, and I am confident that demand for new skills will keep on growing."
A Millwall fan who racially abused a lead striker has been banned for life from attending matches. Gerard Scanlon, 53, from Enfield, appeared at Bromley Magistrates Court last Wednesday after admitting to racially abusing Senegalese striker El Hadj Diouf during the Millwall FC versus Leeds United match on November the 18th last year. The court handed him a £400 fine, as well as banning him from attending matches for 5 years. Furthermore, Millwall confirmed it has banned Scanlon, who was a season ticket holder, from attending matches for life. The disgraced delivery driver was arrested after a Sky Sports News report showed him hurling abuse at the striker. Dressed in a dark suit, he hid his face with a scarf as he left the court. Millwall released a statement condemning Scanlon's behaviour. The club statement said, "We're pleased the police and the courts have now taken action against this individual. Millwall Football Club will continue to operate a zero-tolerance policy to target and ban any fan guilty of displaying racist behaviour. We look forward to developing even closer links with other agencies, including those in the media, who share our determination to eradicate racism from our game." Scanlon was also told to pay £85 in costs and a £40 victim surcharge.
A blind father fears he could be targeted again after crowbar-wielding robbers stabbed his dog during an attempted burglary. Mr. Davis said the criminals demanded money before stabbing his dog with a knife in front of him and his 16-year-old son, Jay, last November. As well as being registered blind, Mr. Davis also suffers from a degenerative nerve disorder, diabetes and depression, and fears his condition will worsen in time. He claims the door, which is 8 inches smaller than his first door, is poor quality, and he is worried it will not protect him from future attacks. He has 20% vision in his left eye and relies on friends to help him leave and enter his home. He is concerned he will come housebound if the authorities do not have a change of heart. It's not fair to have to rely on other people. Mr. Davis's father, Kenneth, is extremely concerned about his son's welfare and claims the door is not strong enough to protect his family from further attacks. Kenneth said, "For the past 3 months, Paul has been unable to sleep. I feel the council can't be bothered to do anything. All Paul wanted was what he had." An Enfield Borough Council spokesman said, after the break-in, Enfield Homes agreed to fit a new front door. Mr. Davis asked for a high-quality door. So though Enfield Homes was prepared to fit a wider door, this was postponed because Enfield Homes suggested a referral to the council's occupational therapy service would ensure all Mr. Davis's access and mobility needs were met at his home. It is felt the best solution for Mr. Davis' home is a thorough assessment so that we can fix and design a much wider door and install helpful modifications in other parts of his home. Once the assessment is complete, we can proceed with further works. Both Mr. Davis and his father have agreed to the referral.
Competition was fierce during a nail-biting dance-off in Enfield Island Village. More than 150 people turned out to cheer on 12 people fighting to win the competition in the community centre in the island's centre way. Although planning to pick one winner, the standard was so high that judges split the £400 prize between Callian Pringle, 9, and 13-year-old Zani Kofi Gawi, who dazzled the crowds with their moves. Martine Eni, who is a community development coordinator at the village, said the competitors were unbelievable. They were not joking, they all took it very seriously. It was like the X Factor. We had so many people in the hall, we were packed to the rafters. Approximately 100 people strutted their stuff during free dance workshops, including Zumba, pole dancing and street dance. Miss Eni said the event was such a success she hopes to organise it again next year.
The decision on whether to grant a planning application for a traveller's site in Cruise Hill has been delayed for the 3rd month in a row. Enfield Council's planning committee had been expected to turn down the application for 3 static caravans, a septic tank, fencing and landscaping on a site beside Derwin Nursery in Tingey's Top Lane, Enfield, on Tuesday last week. However, the item was scrapped from the agenda at the 11th hour, with councillors saying they still needed to visit the site, which is on designated green belt land. Peter Jeffrey, chairman of the Cruise Hill Residents Association, said, "We want to support the council in enforcing green belt regulations. Everybody wants a decision, and I'm sure that even the applicants would appreciate knowing one way or another."
Hard-working scouts have been rewarded with money and a medallion for doing their best. Jack Faraday, 12, of the 20th Southgate Scout Group, and 13-year-old Luke Oros of the 23rd Enfield Scout Group received Jack Petchy Awards during an annual awards ceremony in Finchley. And this article is accompanied by a picture of the 2 boys holding up their medals and looking very pleased and happy. Patrol leader Jack was congratulated for his enthusiasm and commitment to the Scouts, as well as his map reading talents. Luke, who is partially sighted, was praised for his hard work at camp and his success in achieving multiple badges. The pair were also rewarded with £200, which they spent on camping equipment. The Jack Petchey Foundation was set up in 1999 to recognise the positive contributions young people make to society and support them in reaching their goals.
Time is running out to enter a competition recognising unsung heroes in Enfield. The National Lottery Awards for groups who received National Lottery funding last year to shout about how their money has helped their communities. A total of 38 projects in Enfield shared a slice of the 1.2 million dished out last year, and each has until 9 a.m. on Tuesday the 19th of March to enter. The winner in each category will receive £2,000 in cash and appear on a BBC One programme later in the year. Amongst the projects that qualify for this award are the Southgate Sport and Leisure Trust in Trent County Park, which received £50,000 to replace 2 pitches, and the Enfield Bangladesh Welfare Association, which received £10,000 to deliver a weekend study support. To nominate a project in the arts, environmental, education, sports, health, heritage or charity categories, visit www.nationallotteryawards.org.uk or call 0207 293 3599.
We've reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Janet, Blanche, John, Keith and Robin on the controls, it's goodbye. Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible, in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking newspaper. The Enfield Talking newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.